I'm Pops, and I want to wrap up my thoughts on Wednesday, the Netflix show spinoff from the Addams Family. And I have been, oh man, have I been enjoying this show. Hat tip to Joker Voice and Saggy Melons and my close friend Dave Reardon that have really praised this show. I was late to the game, and I'm enjoying it a lot. And I wrapped up episodes 6, 7, and 8. So we're going to do kind of a close to the season here for you because the last video I did was episode 5, which is clearly the filler episode. It's kind of like this flashback crime resolution to accusations that were levied towards Gomez, a murder case that was tied to a love interest, someone who was basically a stalker, if you will, Morticia, and that they tied that victim to the current activities of the Gates family. And that was their thing as they move forward. But here we're going to see Wednesday, and Wednesday is going to kind of get into more like. First off, let me say that you have to kind of go along with the contrivances of a teen drama like this to allow for sort of the Nancy Drew / Scooby Doo crime solving, right? So her going to the sheriff as easily as she does, and being allowed to do some of the things that she gets away with. It's just a contrivance to keep things moving. We can't let ourselves get too caught up, or there's no way to enjoy a show like this. But it is set up so that really younger kids, teens in particular, could be a good target audience that could enjoy something like this. So episode 6 starts out where the Wednesday she's trying to do a summon of Goody Adams. Now Goody Adams is her ancestor. She has seen him in. She's seen Goody in some visions. Looks like her. She knows it's an ancestor who killed Crackstone. He's the person that founded this area. He was this horrible person that really went after the outcasts, and that's kind of how this sort of works out. And there's all of these different kind of things that happen where she ends up following or getting in the car of, which is a total contrivance, of the mayor. And the mayor's sneaking in this thing, whatever. He's doing these different things, and then he gets hit by a car. And Wednesday sees this, right? So now there's a lockdown because she shouldn't have been even where she was. She doesn't even really want to tell you the truth on what's going on about being where the Gates mansion is. And of course, they start to figure out that there's someone named Laurel Gates, right? And that there was like thought they were dead, but might still actually be alive, basically, right? And then they know that there's a severed body parts in the cellar. Well, when the sheriff and the marauders, none of this is there, of course, right? Wednesday is trying to come up with a plan to not get expelled. And then, of course, there's somebody who, who's kind of behind some of this stuff, right? Now, as it moves to the next episode, we finally have the introduction of Uncle Fester. By the way, I did enjoy this version of Uncle Fester. It was just odd enough without it being totally derivative. So I really enjoyed that. And Fester is another good sort of sidekick element because we've had Thing during most of the time. Now we're going to have some time with Fester. There's great back and forth with these different things. And here you start to get into the therapist storyline and think that, oh, wait, there's a Hyde running around because he's trying to identify this creature. And they have some drawings that the one student, Xavier, had been doing. And once they understand what a Hyde is, to get this book that was in the secret library, they understand that it's manipulated by someone who has like hypnotic abilities, who hypnotize someone. So, of course, they think it's a therapist. And then about the time they do all this and they kind of frame Xavier, basically, that he's the creature, they try to deal with her, the therapist, Dr. Kimbot. But, of course, Dr. Thimbolt's not going to make it out, Kimbot. So Kimbot doesn't make it out, right? And then it ends with a kiss, right? And when she kisses Tyler, that's the other love interest in this teen drama triangle, right? She has the vision of the Hyde and whatever, which means Tyler is actually the Hyde, not Xavier. Now, they come up with this plan and scheme, but the students kind of back up. They're not doing this. Wednesday's kind of lost the support of her classmates as this sort of kind of starts off. But at the same time, Tyler has basically confessed to Wednesday, like very quietly and very subtly, right? And Weems, who's the headmaster, kicks her out of the school. But then there's this great scene where you sort of get them to realize that nothing is what they thought. They've kind of missed a few pieces here and there, and they realize that Miss Thornhill is the one that um, was the one. And Weems, who's a shapeshifter, pretends to be Tyler, and they get a full confession. They do whatever, but another great twist here, another great twist there, and you start to understand that Crackstone has this scheme. Thornhill has this scheme to resurrect Crackstone and wipe out all of the outcasts, and that all of these different things are kind of playing out one step at a time. And Thornhill's really Gates, and of course, Weems gets killed. It's all really, really good, and how they tie it together with Wednesday as part of the ritual to resurrect Crackstone, and how the other kids have to realize Wednesday's not as crazy as we thought she was. Like the friends have something to do, and there's tons of callbacks to other episodes and other moments with Enid. Right, she's finally going to have to wolf out. Right, Eugene, who's been in the hospital for a while because he was attacked, and he finally has to realize, I have a purpose. I have a part that I need to play, right, with the bees, because he can control the bees. Bianca, of course, right, the popular girl, and her and Wednesday have been at odds the whole time. She's the one. She plays a key role right at the end, help save the day. So this 3-part sort of lead in, and it may be a little too much as a finale in some ways, but it's not without its rewards. It's not without its entertainment. It's basically, Nancy Drew and Harry Potter and little Scooby-Doo, a little dab of some Stranger Things. It's written by the Smallville guys, and you can tell they knew what they were doing, right? Burton's hands aren't nearly on it as much now as it was early on, and I think that's probably what the baton will be passed. They're probably working on a season 2 plan with Burton as a producer and not being the one running things. And I think it'll get announced because it's extremely well done. It deserves accolade. Jenna Ortega, of course, she hits it out of the park through the whole series, not just the end. I mean, she is fantastic. They give her tons of stuff to work with. She is great. All of these kids, the cast did a great job. And there's tons of room. Like they leave a lot of little breadcrumbs of things going on, whether that be with Xavier and Tyler, other players in all of this. I think they just did a really great job with the show, and it's something that I hope if you want to go back and watch any of my other videos when you see it, see if you disagree with my take on it. But I don't know, what was your you have a favorite part or favorite moment or episode or something like that? Because I just think that anything that involved Jenna Ortega was like stealing the show. And now I can't even look at her because I see Wednesday. It's so amazing what a transformation she had. And of course, it is such a great continuation of Christina Ricci's version in the live action films. And then, of course, having her as Thornhill, well, she disappears as Thornhill, but Jenna Ortega definitely feels like an extension of that same character. Like it really feels, very connected to that universe. But yeah, there's so many great moments. And I have to give, again, Ortega deserves credit. Like I read that she had learned how to play the cello for this. There's a lot of different inspirations from Susie from Susie and the Banshees, right? In those scenes, the music, of course, is great. The performances are great. I'm not a huge fan of the high design and CGI and all of that, but it's not the worst thing in the world. It doesn't, and it never overshadows the whole show. There's these woke dialogue moments where they have references to patriarch and hierarchy and mansplaining, whatever. But you know what they don't do? They don't derail the whole show. They don't derail the conversation. They don't start talking to the audience about it. It literally is their world and how they talk. But even then, they're not obsessed with it. It's just part of how things are in the culture of the show, not rather a projection of things that need to be a commentary on everyone, right? It felt that way. Now, maybe I'm giving it too much of a free pass. You guys will keep me honest, but that's what I thought. I really enjoyed the show, can really highly recommend it. And I can tell you, it was actually I was really surprised with how teen friendly it is. There's a great emotional moment with Thing. I mean, it was kind of silly with how could you think Thing is dead? And then it's well, they're going to bring him back, but it was kind of silly. But you really kind of felt kind of emotional for Thing. I'm like, Yeah, I don't know. It was really done well. Um, yeah, look forward to season two. Hope it actually happens, and would love to hear your thoughts, especially if you've been taking in the show. Tell me what you guys think. So anyway, I'm Hops. Thank you for watching.